It's a big one. All of the most important mega cap tech companies, and then NVIDIA a little bit after that, but it's going to be big. For more on what to expect, let's welcome in Toney. He's Plexo Capital's founding managing partner. It's good to see you. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
How do you think next week's going to unfold?
Well, I think it's going to be a bellwether for sure, because we've had so much spend. It's almost like a space race with over $300 billion in CapEx on mostly AI infrastructure. So I think the market's going to want to move from the promise to performance and profits. So let's see what these companies are delivering. You know, I think if you look at Meta, if you look at Alphabet, it's going to be a focus around, are these AI investments driving monetization with their ad business, and how are the margins themselves holding up with all of this cash flow going towards CapEx? I think Alphabet in particular, you know, trying to balance this new frontier that we're in with AI becoming the new place for search, and Alphabet and Google trying to figure out, okay, how do we balance this innovator's dilemma that we're in? Probably looking at more incremental additions on the AI side to the search experience, as opposed to a complete redesign, because we haven't quite seen what the monetization is going to look like. And then I think, you know, if we were to look at Microsoft and Amazon, I mean, that's probably more of a bellwether picture that we'll have given their cloud business.
I'm kind of surprised, to be honest, the way you answered my first question, the first part of it at least, where you say we're going to get some better information of how things look from promise to performance and profit. My thought is, how can we find that out now? Isn't it so much of that on the come that we're not going to know really whether these tens of billions of dollars that all these companies are spending is going to pay off in the near term, are we?
Well, I think you're absolutely right in terms of the far picture, but I think we're getting snapshots. And let's be honest, investors want to see more performance today as opposed to more promise and hype. I mean, look, you know, the Magnificent Seven in particular have created this cycle, and now it's upon them to be able to show that these numbers that they're spending, every dollar is translating somehow, near term at least, into some type of return on their investment.
I'm thinking about the news of this week, too, that we got with OpenAI, you know, rolling out their own browser. And the first stock you obviously look at in that is Alphabet. What do you think about the market share that they've had in search? There was a moment in time where the stock went down because of what Eddie Q said in a courtroom about, you know, search declining on the browser, and then the stock had a tremendous recovery. How do you think about the threat?
Yeah, and the threat is not only coming from OpenAI. Let's not forget that Perplexity, the business of, you know, they aggregate a lot of the results of models. Perplexity has also put out their own browser. So, I think people are coming at Google and Alphabet from multiple vectors. It's not only the ability to try and control that experience around search and creating a new paradigm that consumers do seem to be adopting when they're looking for information on the web, but it's also how do those consumers get there as well. And I think that's why we see these new browsers coming out of Perplexity and OpenAI. They want to get that entire experience, both not only the behavior of users, but also the user experience and platforms that the users have to be able to get to those solutions. So, you know, Google is under a lot of pressure. You know, I think they actually have the brain power to think through this. But again, I want to go back to that point. There's an innovator's dilemma here. It's going to be difficult for Google to be able to make dramatic shifts because they still need to protect that $175+ billion search business. So I think you're going to see more incremental to be able to try and fend off all of these competitive threats.